In my opinion, all the alt beauty baddies out there need to know about the Glisten Cosmetics Juicy Lip Tints. There's something about a colorful lip tint that really takes some of your lip combos to the next level. They just came out with a bunch of very unique shades. Let's go ahead and swatch and talk about them. I'm going to take one for the team and try on all 9 of the new shades. These are affiliate code eligible, so I'm going to go ahead and pop my code up on the screen now. First, we have the shade Bayberry. I know a lot of people were super excited about this one. This is a gray lip stain. I don't think there's very many brands that have gray lip stains, so that is really cool to see. The next shade we have is Brunia, and this is simply described as a mauve tone. Do keep in mind that the initial swatches are not the way that the stains end up looking, which is why it's so important to try these on. But I will also show you what the swatches look like after you wipe away that top layer. The next shade we have is Coconut. This is described simply as a brown toned stain. Next we have the shade Olive, and this is described as a dark green stain. I would have swatched it later in my try-ons if I knew that it was as dark as it is. I tried to save my darker shades for the end because I knew they would be harder to remove in between my swatches. Goji Berry is one of the lightest shades in this bunch. This is described as a pink. Normally, I like to do my try-ons in between each swatch, but I couldn't do that with the stains because they are trickier to swatch. This is Raspberry, which is a deep pinky red. Next, we have the shade Juniper, and I would describe this as a lighter purple toned shade. The original shades include a deeper toned purple called Grape. Next, we have the shade Blueberry. This is a really beautiful, deep kind of cobalt blue. Again, how many blue lip tints have you seen? I think Sushi Glow has one, but I haven't seen too many. Last but not least, we have the shade Gooseberry, and this is simply described as a green lip tint. It's a little less deep than Olive, and here is what all of the new shades look like swatched on my arm before kind of wiping away that top layer of the stain. In all of the cases, they looked brighter in the swatch than they did as a stain, and I really liked that. Just in case it's helpful for you, I also went ahead and did some quick swatches of the older shades. There are 10 of them. I'm not trying those newer shades on because I realized that I just couldn't try on that many lip stains in one video, but here is what all of the newer and older shades look like swatched in my arm. We definitely get some of the more alternative shades in the newer batch and compared to the original batch. And here is what all of the stains look like swatched on my arm. I do have labels of all of these shades up on the screen in case you find that helpful. Okay, now for the fun part, which is trying on these different lip stains. I gotta say, I've never done a video dedicated to lip stains, and they're intended to stain the lips, be long wearing. So doing a bunch of try-ons is the first time for me, but I was told that you can use a cleansing oil. That's the best way to remove stains. I've used lip stains before, but I've never done them, in quick succession. So let's go ahead and give it a go. I am going to start off with the shade Bayberry, and we're just going to make sure to give it enough time between each try-on. And really excited for the shade because it's a gray lip tint, which is hard to come by. And don't get scared by how it looks on first application. Ultimately, what we're going to do is let it sit for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to remove it with micellar water to see what the stain itself will look like. All right, now just with a little bit of micellar water, I'll try to remove this. I'm hoping for, underneath this first layer, you have this deeper gray that is so pretty and is going to make for a really durable lip combo. So here's what we're looking at. It looks really nice all by itself. And then, I saw somebody on Instagram pair this with Izumaya Metal. Let's go ahead and try that, and then I am curious what it'll look like with a pink sparkly gloss as well. Just a little bit of Izumaya Metal. That is such a cool lip combination. Now I am curious how it's gonna look with this pink shade. This is, by the way, the shade Ultraviolet. Again, I just think pink and gray are such a killer combo. Yeah, oh yeah. I think I like that even more than the first one. Okay, the next shade I have is Brunia, which is described as a mauve tone. I've accepted that I'm probably not going to get all of the stain off between swatches. And this looks like it might have a little bit of gray to it as well. All right, I've let it sit for 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and wipe it off. Yeah, you can see that underneath you have this really deep kind of purpley mauve. Okay, and over top I'm going to use this gloss that I made at Lip Lab. This is like a grayish purple and I called it Smoky Plum, and it has a subtle sparkle in it. Just going to put a little bit on the center of the lip. I'm loving the fact that, you know, when you use a stain, you get a little bit more opacity and durability and less patchiness. You can just be a little bit more carefree with your application over top. And here's what the combo of Brunia and Smoky Plum looks like. All right, next I have the shade Coconut, and this is described online simply as a brown tone. And what I've seen so far is that all of the stains look deeper on the lips than they do in the tube, and I like that because I do want a deeper brown for this one. It looks like it's going to be a cool tone brown, which I'm excited about. My lips are going to be so raw tomorrow, but that's okay. That shade actually looks really pretty, just like on first application. All right, let's see what we got. Yep, another winner. Again, this is the shade Coconut. It is a little bit warmer on the lips than I initially thought, but deeper and definitely a brown tone. And then I thought what I would do is try over top this gloss from NYX. I actually haven't tried this formula yet. It's the Jelly Job. I hate that name, but I heard the formula is actually nice. Oh, yeah. Because I think by itself this would be quite sheer. The tone of this brown actually matches really well with Coconut. Here's what the combo looks like. I just feel like you can't go wrong with these lip stains. If you like lip stains, I feel like the Glisten ones are good, and they're very affordable too. All right, now we're on the shade Olive. Very curious how this one is gonna look. Actually looks quite dark in the tube. I'm curious if this one is gonna stain lighter. Here's what it looks like fully applied. Let's go ahead and give it 5 minutes. All right, I'm actually really curious how this one is gonna look as a stain. My teeth got a little stained on that one. That's okay. All right, I think this is what Olive looks like as a stain. It is a beautiful deep green, and I'm gonna pair it with, again, This is another gloss I made at Lip Lab. This is actually the first gloss I ever made at Lip Lab. I just think the tone of green is going to go really well with this one and just give it a little extra shine. Here is what the combo of olive and my personal gloss from Lip Lab looks like. I feel like if you are an alt beauty baddie, you would just have so much fun with these different shades. All right, I learned my lesson. I'm gonna go in and do some of the lighter shades before I end on the deeper shades. This is the shade Goji Berry, and it looks like this is not gonna be one of the deepest shades, but we'll see. Here's what Goji Berry looks like applied. Okay, let's go ahead and remove the stain. This, by the way, is described simply as a pink. And, you know, I am aware that I haven't been able to fully remove the stains each time, but I've done a pretty good job. This one actually has a really pretty, almost like bitten look to the lips. I feel like this would look really nice just with a clear gloss over top. I'm gonna put just the tiniest bit of this Rare Beauty gloss called Blaze just in the center of the lip. And here is the combo of Goji Berry and Blaze. All right, next we have the shade Raspberry, and I think this is going to be a really pretty kind of deep pinky tone red. This is another one. I love the color of it even after its initial application. All right, let's go ahead and see what the stain looks like. Ooh, yeah. This one looks a lot more red when you take off that first layer. That is so pretty. Again, I think that all of these stains would look pretty just with a clear gloss over top, but I am gonna go ahead and pair this one with the Wonder Skin Glitter Gloss. This is the red shade. The sparkles in this one are so pretty. And here is the combo of Raspberry and Glitter Red. All right, I've tried on the 6 and I have 3 to go. Let's try on this shade Juniper. It would have been so ambitious to try on the new shades and the old shades all in one video. So I figured let's just do the new shades. If you've ever done lip swatches of lip stains, I feel you. It's a really pretty shade. Bright, but pretty. Here's what Juniper looks like before removing the stain. All right, now let's remove this stain. This is a cool kind of muted purple, like a deeper muted purple. And here is what the stain looks like. Again, this shade is called Juniper. I think for the combo part of this, I'm gonna use the Cloudicos shade. This again is Prismelt. So I I absolutely love these iridescent shades that just came out from Cloudicos. Oh, look at that. That is so cool. Did any of you pick up some of the Cloudicos shades that just came out? They are so much fun, and the packaging, never seen anything like it. So this is the shade Juniper with Prismelt. All right, now we're gonna go in with this really bright green tone called Gooseberry. I'm very curious to see how this one will stain. This is definitely a much brighter green than I would tend to go for. But you never know with a stain. Here is what Gooseberry looks like applied. And by the way, I'm just letting these stains sit for a few minutes. If you want them to be even more intense and potentially less patchy, I haven't really seen any patchiness with any of the shades that I've tried, but I know that with the brighter shades, that can be a thing. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, that's a really pretty shade of green. It took down the brightness, and I absolutely love the way that this shade looks on its own. I am going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to go in on the center of the lip with the shade Stranger, which is this gray toned shade that Cloudicos just came out with. Just a sheer layer. I just want to play with some different combos. I think that looks pretty cool. So this is the shade Gooseberry and Stranger as a combination. Just for fun, I want to try to take the shade Cheat Code in the center. Oh yeah. So that's like a pink glitter over top of a green gloss. And here is Gooseberry with Cheat Code. Okay, last but not least, we have the shade Blueberry. And I'm really excited for this one because I feel like I haven't seen really too many blue lip stains. There's one from Sushi Glow. Here is what Blueberry looks like applied. Let's give it 5 minutes and come back and do a lip comp. All right, let's go ahead and remove this stain. I am relieved that this is the last one. This was fun to do, but not something that you want to do very often. This one also, you gotta watch the teeth. All right, here is what the stain for Blueberry is looking like. And I think that I want to go in again with Prismelt because I just think that that one is going to go so well over top of a blue. So again, I'm going to just put a little bit of blue glitter. Yeah. Center of the lip. Here is what the combo of Prismelt with Blueberry looks like. This probably is one of my favorite of all of the combos that I've done. All right, now that I've tried on all of the new Glisten Juicy Tint lip shades, let's go ahead and close up with some wrap-up thoughts. I have no idea what the interest in these is. I think that a lot of people are interested in these, but I'm not sure. I, for one, really wanted to do a video using these because as someone who's done a lot of colorful gloss videos, I just feel like a colorful lip tint really takes some of your lip combos to the next level. even when the gloss wears away, you have a beautiful stain that's left. I feel like you get a different effect with a lot of your glosses. It kind of expands your collection in a lot of ways. And I just think that Glisten has done something really special with these shades. I also just love the fact that, you know, in general, I think that the price point for Glisten is pretty fair, and then they're constantly running sales. You can always use codes to stack on top, which is really nice in terms of what the price point for a lot of the products are. I also just feel like the lip tints from Glisten are definitely one of their most iconic product. I definitely want to also do a try on of some of the Sushi Glow lip tints because, or their lip stains, because I have a bunch of those that were sent to me, and I think that those are really, really great quality as well. But I need a little break before I do another video on lip stains. I think that these are so much fun, and I am definitely going to be getting more use out of these. But I would love to hear in the comments if you've tried these, if they've been on your wish list. I definitely hope that my lip swatches were helpful because, you know, it is nice to see what these look like on different skin tones and just to show you combinations and what these are like in action. I don't see a lot of people that have reviewed Glisten on YouTube in general, and I have a lot more content that I want to do with Glisten products. So let me know what products you would be most interested to see from the brand. As always, I really hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.